We're here in the little Tater Valley schoolhouse, and it came from up the valley, actually up and across the valley. There's two Tater Valleys up there, Little Tater Valley and Big Tater Valley. And the people in Big Tater Valley sort of look down on the ones in Little Tater Valley, they say. But this school was built in about 1805 by a fellow pioneer by the name of Crockett Skeens, and it served as a school in that area that was known as Bull Run. Actually, the people called it Bull Run Creek. They added the redundancy on the up north. It's the Battle of Bull Run. Here it was Bull Run Creek, and the Bowers, I believe it was the Bowers family that moved in after the school was closed in the 1880s. They built a larger school. So she and her husband had two children when they moved into school, and while they were living there, they had 13 more children. Then they moved out, and there was, based on little research I did, there was a total of 8 other families that lived in this school, in this building at one time or another. And during that time, and I can remember in the 1930s and 40s, a lot of people moved quite often. In fact, the Roses over here, Carlock, Russ and Nancy Rose, moved 17 times in 18 years. They were always like Jeter Lester, looking for something a little better. But when I first saw it, it belonged to a fellow by the name of Edgar Keck, and it had fallen down. It was on a little creek, and the creek had been used in the beginning by the old man Crockett Skeens to run a little grist mill, corn mill. And so over the years, after the last families lived there, it deteriorated, and as I say, one corner had totally fallen down in the creek. And after I'd bought it from Edgar, I took the Sherwood brothers up there, Ed and Elmer, and they were pretty much up in years, about your age, Carlock. They were about 80 or 78 and 80, I guess. And it was, I sent them up there in a truck, and I had to go to make a talk up Morristown or somewhere. Well, and back then I would go with them a lot of times to help take the buildings down and so forth. And that time I just went by and I told them I only had a few minutes, and boy, they were so mad when I got there. And I remember, and I had it in my notes, that it was, the highest it got was 8 degrees above zero that day. And they were, greeted me in not too friendly a fashion. When I drove up, they was already there with the truck. And all three of them, John Eckerly was the truck driver, all three of them talking at the same time. You sending us up here in this mud and dirt and the stream, the old building's falling down, it's all rotted, and they just on and on and on. I said, well, you all do the best you can. I've got to go. And they weren't too happy, but we got it back in pretty good condition. In fact, I think in real good condition. As a matter of fact, some of the people who attended the school, when who had lived in it and who had lived in the neighborhood, several of them came down and to visit, and they couldn't believe that we got it back in as good a condition as we did.